doing, everybody? UFC 310 is in the books, and I'm just going to go over all the main talking points, all the announcements, give you my opinions on some of the fights, and then I'm going to go out for a Thai meal with my family because I am absolutely knackered. I was there in the building last night. Another great pay-per-view event, a great way to round out what was an incredible 2024. The rise of Tom Aspinall, Ilia Topuria. We've got champions still on top like Islam Makhachev, and it's just been a tremendous year for combat sports and the UFC in particularly, and it was a great way to round it out. However, not the last show of the year. I will be in Tampa, Florida next weekend. Joaquin Buckley taking on Colby Covington, and that will be the last UFC event of 2024. However, Saturday night, that was the last pay-per-view, and the top of the bill was the one and only Alexander Pantoja taking on the newcomer Kai Asakura, and he got the job done in absolute style. These guys wasted no time. Simple as that. They just went at each other right from the opening bell. Pantoja was super aggressive. He wasn't quite as quick on the feet, but he was definitely improved. He was aggressive, he was nasty, he was technical, and he's well-rounded. He had more ways to win than what Kai Asakura did. Asakura tried throwing those signature knees that he's known for, threw a few shots as well and definitely connected, but so did Pantoja. But the difference being was that he was using up the strikes to get the takedown, and he got those takedowns on multiple occasions, and by the time he got it in the second round, the way that he tied the one leg hook around the waist and then dragged him down to the octagon, got the other one, got the rear naked choke and choked out Kai Asakura unconscious, put him to sleep. Beautiful stuff, shocking stuff. When someone's unconscious with their eyes still open, it always makes it look even more devastating for some reason. Now, Pantoja, I believe this time next year at the end of 2025, he's still going to be the champion. He's been through all the other competition. I was sitting next to Brandon Royval. Royval wanted Kai Asakura to win because, of course, that opens the door for a title fight for Brandon Royval. And a lot of people in the flyweight division, they will feel the exact same way. And of course, Pantoja called out one of the greatest, if not the greatest flyweight that we've ever seen, and one of the greatest fighters. Full stop, period, whatever you want to call it, whatever side of the Atlantic you're on, right? He called out Demetrious Mighty Mouse Johnson. Okay, so let's find out who the best is once and for all.
This is something message for you, Demetrious Johnson. I'm the GOAT here. If you want to prove you the GOAT, come back.
Demetrious Johnson came back. He said, listen, I'm retired. I ain't dragging my ass out of retirement. And Pantoja said, listen, this isn't about money. This is about finding out who is the greatest flyweight of all time. And I respect that, I understand that. And it's beautiful that he wants to challenge himself, calling out people like Demetrious Johnson. And that would be a big, big money fight. And you know what? Even though Demetrious says, listen, I'm not interested, you never know. The wheels have started to turn in the mind of Demetrious Johnson. And you never know. You never know. UFC could make him a great offer.
I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse.
And we might see Demetrious come back. Regardless, shout out Demetrious Johnson, of course, one of the GOATs, as I said. And well done to Alexander Pantoja. Now, Shavkat, Rakhmonov, Ian Machado, Garry, right? You know the results by now. You know what happened. Shavkat was the winner. He got the job done. 4 rounds to 1, maybe 3 rounds to 2, okay? But it wasn't the best fight. It just wasn't, okay? It takes 2 to tango. And to be honest, this was high-level mixed martial arts with serious consequences. Shavkat clearly wanted to take him down to the ground and was able to do that on a couple of occasions. But on the flip side, Machado Garry, he was looking to counter-strike. He didn't want to go forward. He didn't want to be too aggressive. He didn't want to get caught coming in. He didn't want to get caught with a reckless shot. And he didn't want to get taken down. He didn't want Shavkat to level change as he was coming forward, advancing with strikes, grab a leg, whatever the case may be. So he was taking his time. He was being methodical. And yes, the crowd were booing at times, but not every single fight that you're going to see is going to be 2 guys going crazy, all blood and guts, throwing caution to the wind and just smashing each other's faces in, right? That's not what this sport is about. This is a thinking man's game, and Machado Garry did himself proud. The O, well, that's gone. He's no longer undefeated. Shavkat Rakhmonov, the finishing streak, that has gone, but he's still undefeated. He's 19-0 now. Okay, now, Ian Machado Garry, his stock rose in that loss. Let's be honest, okay? He's right what he said. He came out, he did a video afterwards saying nobody wanted to fight this guy. He was the bogeyman of the division. I stepped up on short notice and I almost got the finish. Who was the guy to almost finish him? Me, the striker.
So many people turned down this fight. So many people were running from him. I backed it up. I said I could do it. I went in there today with every intention of beating that man. And I still feel like I'm winning right now. who do not feel like that man beat me.
That's what he said. And to be fair, he's absolutely right. That is what happened. It wasn't the best fight. Shavkat Rakhmonov oftentimes is technical, he is strategic, he takes his time, but he normally finds a way to win. And of course, in round 5, when Machado Garry took the back, almost got the rear naked choke, there was some real excitement in the building then, because it looked like a massive upset was about to happen. Because prior to that, Shavkat controlled the fight. He did. He got the clinch pretty easy. Ian did a really good job of using underhooks against the fence, pummeling in and out, and stopping the takedown, keeping the fight on the feet. But that was about all he was doing. Shavkat landed some nice singular shots, a couple of spinning back kicks to the body, a couple of spinning wheel kicks that almost found the target. But it wasn't a barn burner, but it was a solid victory for Shavkat. Remember, Ian Garry, he's also undefeated. He was 15-0. Now he's 15-1. He'll learn from that loss. He'll get better and he'll come back. And I'm just saying, Ian Machado Garry versus Leon Edwards, who is returning, who is headlining in London in March. Call me a matchmaker, call me Mick Maynard, call me whatever you want, call me a smart man, because that matchup makes a lot of sense if you ask me. So well done to Shavkat. Now before this one, Ciryl Gane, Alexander Volkov. The judges got this one wrong. Simple as that. I'm a big fan of Ciryl Gane. I think he's a great fighter. I actually thought Volkov was going to win, and he did win. He did win in the hearts and the minds of everybody watching. When they called out Ciryl Gane, when they said he was the winner, the boos in the building were ridiculous. Now remember, Ciryl Gane walked out of the octagon because he thought he would have lost, and that harkens back to when Forrest Griffin fought Tito Ortiz. He thought he'd lost as well and went storming out the building. They had to bring him back. Ciryl Gane showed up. He looked improved. He looked like the grappling had definitely got better. In the first round, he hit some nice takedowns of his own, dropped back to the ground from full guard like Andrei Arlovski versus Tim Sylvia back in the day, trying to get the Achilles or a heel hook. And that's the problem. When you've won like that before via heel hook like Ciryl Gane has, and you're fighting somebody like Alexander Volkov that's got really, really long legs, it's not actually a bad strategy. But what it does do is lose you the position. Now, round 1, I had Ciryl Gane winning that. He got a couple of nice takedowns, landed a couple of good shots, and threatened a couple of submissions. Second round, though, that was all Alexander Volkov to me. He wobbled him a couple of times. He landed a couple of beautiful head kicks. The spinning back fist, that was a beautiful shot that had Ciryl Gane kind of wobbled, stumbly feet, all the rest of it. It's clearly Alexander Volkov's round. And then in the third round, it wasn't the most action. Volkov got on top. Ciryl Gane was looking for a Kimura. Volkov was defending the Kimura by putting the hand inside his own thigh. So therefore, you can't pull the arm through the thigh. So Volkov knew he was in no danger. He had one arm free and he was landing a few shots. So that wins in the third round as well. How the judges gave the second round to Ciryl Gane is beyond me.
This is #1 bullshit.
It really is. And he was pissed off. Dana White was pissed off. Dana White went up to him afterwards straight away in the crowd and said, hey, you were by the judges. Volkov wasn't happy. He wasn't happy with the judging afterwards. He spoke about that at the post-fight press conference. And something does need to happen. You know, fighters can't keep getting screwed like this. Now, granted, it wasn't the worst decision we've ever seen. It certainly wasn't a massive robbery. And Ciryl Gane did come out and say, listen, he broke his toes in the first round when he threw the first teep of the night, the first front kick to the midsection.
I broke my toes at the first tip, at the first second of the fight. This is bringing me a little bit, so I'm not happy about the fight.
And Volkov was like, yeah, well, that's damage that I did to him.
And the fact he broke his finger is a damage that I give to him. So it's a one more fact that I get this fight.
And that is, it's kind of funny, but it's also kind of true. So it's a shame for Volkov, because if he'd have won that, he'd be on a 5-fight win streak now, and he would have just beaten Ciryl Gane, a man that fought for the belt on 2 occasions. But instead, he lost. And Ciryl Gane and Alexander Volkov, neither man has emerged as a contender for the winner of John Jones versus Tom Aspinall, okay? That's what we could have been looking at here. More importantly, on the side of Volkov, yeah, Tom fought Volkov before, smoked him, destroyed him, made it look easy. But now, if the judges had done their job correctly, Volkov would be on a 5-fight win streak with wins over Ciryl Gane and Sergey Pavlovich in the last 2, and certainly emerging as a contender. So that's a shame, but still, well done to both men. Right, Bryce Mitchell knocks out Kron Gracie. Knocks out Kron Gracie cold in the third round, and it was just like the way Jordan Levitt knocked out Eddie Wineland. From guard, legs wrapped around the body, get the forearm, plant him down, boom, boom. 2 huge elbows, beautiful finish, and gave the crowd what they wanted. because the crowd wasn't enjoying it. Kron Gracie is obviously a high-level jiu-jitsu guy. But in this day and age, in 2024, pretty much 25, you can't be so one-dimensional. Yes, you can be a specialist, you can be a striker, you can be a wrestler, you can be a jiu-jitsu guy, taekwondo, whatever you want to call it. But you've also got to have a solid foundation everywhere else. And pulling guard repeatedly, time after time after time, is not going to get the job done. And yeah, okay, granted, he almost got an armbar in the second round, but then Bryce escaped. He got to the side, started pounding him. Looked like he was going to finish Kron Gracie right there in the second round. And fair play to Bryce Mitchell. Got the first stoppage of his career, the first knockout after coming back from what was one of the worst knockouts in recent history. And I just loved the celebration from Bryce Mitchell afterwards. He was like, speaking to Megan Levy, he's like, listen, I've won fights, I've lost fights, so I have perspective now. I don't get too hyped up when I get a win, because I know that maybe down the line, I might get another loss. So I'm just grateful for the position I have in life. I'm grateful that I get to compete and do this for a living. And it's a very balanced thing for Bryce Mitchell to say. Granted, he thinks the earth is flat, okay? He thinks seatbelts, are a bad idea. He thinks a lot of crazy stuff, but he is correct on where he stands and how he's assessing the fight game. So well done to him. And of course, Do Hoi Choi destroyed Nate Landwehr. I love Nate the Train. He's a fun guy. He's a lot of fun to watch, but he just wasn't good enough tonight. It was a bad night at the office, if you want to say that. Do Hoi Choi looked incredible. He was too fast. He was too quick. He was too technical. He was too strong. He was too athletic. You name it, he was better in every department. He almost couldn't miss. Some of the shots that he landed on Nate Landwehr were beautiful. The lead uppercut was tremendous. The foot sweeps that he hit him with, he was just pimping him all over the octagon. He was by far the better man, and of course beat him down, wore him down in round 3, got the crucifix and pummeled his head in until the referee pulled him off. So Do Hoi Choi is doing big things. And of course on the prelims we had Anthony Smith taking on Dominic Reyes. You know what happened by now. Reyes was victorious, got the stoppage in the second round. Anthony's been through a lot recently, you might know. He lost a very close friend, a coach, a mentor, and just someone that he's been through this entire journey on his entire life. So without him, it wasn't quite the same, and he was clearly emotional walking into the octagon. And a lot of people really felt for him. Sadly, this is not a game where people take it easy on you. Dominic Reyes didn't have to do that. This is just the nature of the beast. This is combat sports. And Anthony was trying to win the fight as well. He was throwing shots. He was dangerous at times, but Dominic Reyes was the better man. Anthony shouldn't have taken that fight. However, it's easy for me to sit here and say that in the cold light today. Maybe Anthony wanted to honor his memory, go out there, beat him down, and make a big tribute to him on the microphone. He had his wife there. He had his 4 daughters there. And obviously, Anthony said on the microphone afterwards that he may be done in this sport. That might be the last time. I personally don't think it will be. I think he's going to want to come back to the octagon and prove that he's better than that, because he is better than that, and he's better than what he has been lately. He needs to really refocus, take some time away from the sport, come back hungry and looking to win, and also have a proper training camp and come back in the best shape of his life. And if he still can't get the job done, that's when I would say it's time to step away. But there is some of the fights. Of course, Movsar Evloev got the job done against Aljamain Sterling. Brian Battle beat Randy Brown. Apparently, that was a dodgy one on the scorecards as well. Vicente Luque submitted Temba Garimbo. Eric Anders. Wow. Eric Anders got the finish over Chris Weidman. Dana White was speaking at the post-fight presser. He said he thinks that Chris Weidman, Anthony Smith, Clay Guida, they all need to retire. The reality is, this sport, it chews you up and it spits you out. It's very unforgiving, and it doesn't care if you're a fan favourite. It doesn't care if you're a former champion, a future Hall of Famer. It doesn't matter. The younger people come in, you get chewed up, you get used up, you get spat out, and that's just the nature of the beast. This fight is a cruel mistress, simple as that. Now, fights were on. I'm tired, man. I am absolutely exhausted. I was in Las Vegas. The fight's finished. Went to a restaurant with my wife. It was the only place that we could get a table late. We walked in. We wanted a nice, quiet steak. Just relax, get a little steak, a little glass of wine, then go to bed. We walked into the restaurant. It was like a goddamn nightclub. quiet steak.
What?
We tried to come for a quiet steak. That was the plan. We're in a fucking nightclub. You could hardly hear each other talk. That's why my voice is a little croaky. I was like having to shout and scream the whole time. But we had fun though. We had fun. It was interesting people watching. And hopefully you've been interested watching this. Thank you for watching. Subscribe and ring the bell. I had a lot of news this week. We had some big announcements. UFC 311, 312. There's London coming up soon. So there's lots of storylines. So I'll be going through all of them on my podcast, Believe You Me. And I'll be dropping videos each and every day this week. So subscribe and ring the bell. Leave a little comment. Tell your friends about it. Do whatever it is you got to do. But kids are all waiting outside. I've been away all weekend, taking them to a Thai restaurant. Wherever you are in the world, you guys have a great day. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.